programs on arrays. So let us start with the first example is right linear search. The first example is linear search. So what is the meaning of linear search? Linear means the meaning of linear is continuous. Continuous. Okay. So we need to start comparing, right, elements in a continuous fashion, right, and search for a particular element. Search for a particular element. For example, right, let's take an example here. Okay. So and draw an array here. Chalo. First I'll declare an array and its elements. Okay. In this one, okay, what we will do is, okay, let's give it as 10, 7, 6, 15, 12, right? These are the array elements. Then we need to give one more value as an input, that is key, right? Let us take key as 15. Now this is what, right, we need to search, right? We need to search whether this element is present in the array or not, right? This is our job. Okay, so first let's draw an array, right? Okay, let's draw an array and store all the array elements here. Okay, so total 5 elements are there. Okay, 10, 10, 7, 6, 15, 12. Now the index of these are 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So the number of elements n is equal to 5. So this is the array we have. Now what we need to do here is the logic for this is linear searches, right? So traverse the array, traverse, traverse the array, traverse the array and compare key with each element. Compare the key with each element. Okay. So currently what is my key? My key is 15. So the key element is 15. Now traversing means what? I need to access every element. I need to access every element of the array. First time I will compare 15 with the first element. If they are matching, we can say that the element is found. If it doesn't match, then I'll compare 15 with the next element. Then I'll compare 15 with the next element. Okay. Then I'll compare, if it doesn't match, then I'll compare with 15 with the 6. Then if it doesn't match, then I'll compare 15 with 15. Now the match is found. Once the match is found, we should come out, right? We should come out and print the element is found. Okay. So if match is found, right? Stop searching, come out, come out and print found. Okay, so this is the job that we have to do. Okay, now can we start writing a code for this one? Can we start writing a code for this one? Chalo, let us start with the code for this program. Okay, GDB online compiler. Okay, so I'll select C compiler here. I'll select the C compiler. Now in this one, right? So whenever I have told you about writing a program, whenever you want to write a program, there are four steps that we need to keep it in a mind, right? There are four steps that we need to keep it in a mind inside main function. So what are those four steps? Step one, declaration of all the variables. Now, so let us first declare all the variables here. So we need an array with some reserved memory. After that, if it is a one-dimensional array, I require the size of the array. And if it's a one-dimensional array, I have to write a loop for traversing. I need one I variable. And also I need one key variable to store the element which has to be searched. Okay. Next, I need one status indicator flag. Initially, I'll keep it as 0. Okay, initially I'll keep it as 0. So these are the variables I require. So once the variable declaration step is done, what is the second step? What is the second step? Can anybody tell me? Declaring a variable is nothing but memory allocation. Memory will be allocated for all variables. And obviously the second step will be read inputs from user. So how many types of inputs we have? First input we have is size. Second input we have is array elements. Third input is key. So these are the three different input we have to read. Okay. Step 3, right? Computing a task, right? Computing the task. What is the computing task here? Compute task given to us in the question. So what is the task given? Traverse the array and compare key with each element, right? Okay, compare it with each element. If match is found, come out and print. Come out and print found. Else, else not found. Okay, so this is what we need to do in our program. So here step 4 is print result based on match. Okay, so this is the logic of the program. So can we start with it? The first input we should take is printf enter size. Okay, if you want to write, you can write it as enter size of array and all sentences and all. It is up to you guys how do you want to write. So scanf percentage d double quote comma ampersand n. So this scanf will give us, or it will take the size of the array from the user, store it into n variable. Okay, so first input is done. So this step is done. Okay, so now second step is array elements. Read array elements. Read array elements. So printf enter array elements, right? Enter array elements. So to read array elements, don't you think we need to traverse the array for I is equal to 0, I less than n, I plus plus. We need to traverse the array, and inside that loop we need to write percentage d double quote comma ampersand arr of I. So this step, this loop and scanf, when they execute together, it will help you to read multiple values. It will help you to read multiple values, right? Are you clear on this part? So the next input will be printf enter key value to be searched. So I need third input, that is scanf percentage d double quote comma ampersand key. Okay, so we need to take the key value that we have to search in the array. Now The next step is what? Here, right? We have completed reading array elements and also reading the key element. 1 second, guys. Okay, right? So reading inputs is done, right? Next one is computing the task. If I want to compare the key with every element of the array, so the first thing is traverse the array. If you traverse the array, you can fetch all the elements of the array. So this is how we do the traversing. Traverse the array, right? And while traversing, what we have to do? We need to compare, right? Compare the key with each element, right? So you need to write a condition if key is equal to ARR of I. So this ARR of I is giving us all the elements of the array. When I is equal to 0, it will give you first value. When I is equal to 1, it will give you second value. When I is equal to 2, it will give you third value. Okay. Now, so if the match is found, we will make flag is equal to 1, break and come out. So why we need this status indicator? I want to understand, I want to understand, right, whether I am coming out of loop because of loop condition failure or because of this condition is true. We have discussed about these flag variables earlier. Okay, so I want to come out of the loop if the key is found. If the key is found, I want to come out of the loop, so I will use a break and come out of the loop at this line. I'll come out of the loop at this line. Okay, but once I come out of the loop, I should know whether the element is found or not. So that is why initially we have kept the flag value as 0, right? If the key is matching with the array element, then I'll make the flag as 1. Then I'll make the flag as 1. Once I come out of the loop, then I'll write flag. If a flag is equal to 1, then print found. Else printf not found. That's it. So this is the very basic method of searching an element in a array, which we call it as linear search. Let's talk about the time complexity, right? That's a very good question, right? Okay. See, if the array size increases, if array size increases, then the time to search increases. So worst case is what? Worst case, the key element can be present in the last of the array, right? So the worst case of this is last element. If the key you are searching is present in the last, you need to go from first till the last. So you need to traverse the entire array. So as the array size increases, the time complexity also will increase, because in the worst case, if the array element present in the last, you have to traverse all the element. For example, what if the array size is something like this? If the array size is so big, then, right, it takes a lot of time to search and the element is present in the last. So in such cases, the time complexity will increase a lot. Then in that situation, it is not suitable. Okay, this is suitable. This is suitable. This is suitable for arrays. First one, smaller size, smaller size, and right, and unsorted. And if the array is unsorted, so in such situation we can make use of this linear search. If the array size is big, we should opt for different methods. Next question we will pick is, right, write a program, write a program to find, right, mean, variance, and standard deviation. Standard deviation, right? Standard deviation, right? Of a given array of elements, of a given array of n elements. So this is the question what we have. So, right, the next thing we need to do here is, right, so first of all, right, let's declare an array, right. You can take an integer array or a float array or any array which you want, right. Let us take, right, the float array, right. How do you want to consider it, int or float? The array which we are declaring, do you want to take it as float or int? I'll consider it as integer. For example, 5, right? Let's take the elements as 5, 7, 2, 11, 13. Okay. So these are the array elements. Okay. These are the array elements. Now, if you want to calculate mean, right? So if you want to calculate a mean, total sum divided by n. N is the number of elements. Total sum divided by n is called as mean. Means you need to add all the array elements like this, right? You need to add all the array elements and find the total sum, right? Divided it by number of elements. Divide it by number of element. Then what is variance? Variance is equal to, right, it's a sum of, right, it's a sum of, one second, so variance is equal to, right, sum of x of I minus mean whole square divided by n minus 1. So whereas x is, mean is, mean is average, this one everybody knows, mean. So what is x of I? Each element, each element, each element. Okay. What is n here? N is number of inputs, number of, now, or you can call it as size of the array, right? And, right. So this is your variance. This is your variance. Okay. Are you clear on this? Okay. Now, right, let's understand the third one. What is the another one we have to calculate? We have to calculate the standard deviation, right? Standard deviation, SD. Standard deviation is given by square root of variance. Square root of variance. Okay, square root of variance. Now, let's see and start solving this example. Okay, okay, let's start solving this example, right? Okay. Now, what all variables are required here? One, we need mean. right? Another one is variance, another one is SD. Okay, so let's start working on this. Hash include stdio dot h int main opening bracket. Okay, now let's declare all the array elements. So first declare all the array. Next is I need I variable and n variable. After that we need some more variables like I need to calculate the sum. Initially I have to keep it 0. Then I have to keep mean. Then I have to calculate variance. Okay. Then I have to calculate initially variance is equal to 0. Then I have to calculate standard deviation. Let's keep it as 0. So if any other variables are required, we will come back and declare it. So what all inputs are required? First, enter size of the array. First input that we have to read in is size of the array, ampersand n. Okay. Once we get the size of the array, the next thing we need is we need all the array elements. Enter array elements. Okay, enter all the array elements. To read all the array elements, we need to traverse the array. To read array elements or to access array memories, either for storing or printing or computing, we need to traverse the array always. So in this one, write a scanf percentage d double quote comma ampersand arr of I. Since there is only one statement inside the for loop, I will keep the braces as optional. I will keep the braces as optional. Okay. Now I need to understand one more factor here. These variables which we are creating, mean, variance and SD, these things must be in a float, because we are doing division. So we will get the answers in the fractions. So what we will do now once we get all the values. So first step is find total sum. Sum of all the elements. If you want to find the sum of all the elements, you need to access all the elements. To access all the elements, we need to traverse the array, correct? We need to traverse the array. So while traversing, write sum is equal to sum plus arr of I. So when I is equal to 0, you will add the first element to sum. When I is equal to 1, you will add the second element to sum, and so on till end of the array. Okay, till end of the array. So the next step is find mean. So we already know the total sum. Calculate the mean. Mean is equal to sum divided by n. Right? Mean is sum divided by n. So this must be converted to float. So sum, right? Must be in a float. So don't want to lose. I don't want to lose the fractions. So it is a sum is an integer number, and below that we will divide the n. N is also integer. So if I want the result in float, I will convert this n variable into float. Okay. So this is how we calculate the mean. Okay. So why the question is why I have written float here. So just understand here 13 divided by 2. The result of this is 6. This is not 6.5. This is 6 because the first number is also integer and this is also integer. So the result must be in an integer only. That is the rule of C language or any language. Okay. Now if I divide this 13 divided by 2.0, then I will get the result as 6.5, right? So if the denominator is float, then the result will be in float. So since I'm calculating a mean, n is also, this n is also integer number. The n what we have written, this is also integer number. So if I divide both integer by integer, the result will be incorrect. I need a correct accurate number. So that is the reason I will convert n, right? Right? I will convert n into float. This is called as type conversion. Type conversion. Okay, this is called as type conversion. You are converting the integer value into float, right? You are converting integer value into float. So the variable is declared as float. First, this division will happen in the integer and the result will come as 6, and then if you assign it to mean, it will store it as 6.0. You would have already lost that zero point 0.5. You would have already lost that zero point 0.5 during the division only. Before assigning this value to mean, that fraction will be lost. That is the reason if you want to retain that, right, the denominator must be, right, a float value. Now we will continue with our next part. So the next thing I have to calculate is compute the variance. I need to compute the variance. So to compute the variance, again I have to, right, again I have to traverse the array. To compute the variance, again I have to traverse the array and find sum is equal to 0. Again I will use the same variable, or you can take another variable here. You can declare another variable also. Okay, you can use same variable, but that must be made 0. That must be made 0. Let's make that as 0 here only if you are confused. Okay, then, right, now I need to find this. I'll show you what exactly we need to find now. Okay, okay, we need to find this part, right? This is what we need to find. So this is nothing but, when I is equal to 0, this is nothing but 5 minus mean, right? 5 minus mean whole square. Okay, so like this, you have to calculate it for plus, then do it for the second element, 7 minus mean whole square. So this is what you need to keep on calculating. This entire thing, what you do, we will call it as sum 1. We will call it as sum 1, right? So we need to traverse the entire array again, right? I plus plus, inside this I need to calculate the sum 1 is equal to sum 1 plus POW. It's a predefined function. It's a predefined function. I'll explain that. Now ARR of I, comma, right, sorry, ARR of minus, right, mean, comma 2. Okay, comma 2. So what exactly is a POW function? POW function is used for finding POW function, right, x comma y. This, if you take this as a syntax, this will help you to calculate x to the power y. So this is the power, this is the base. Okay, so this will help you to calculate. So we will find 5 minus mean as a first parameter, comma 2 as square. So this is our POW function. So like that we will do it for every element and we will keep on adding them. We will keep on adding them. Are you understanding now POW function? So this will calculate the sum. Entire sum will be calculated. Once this is done, calculate the variance. Calculate variance is equal to sum 1 divided by float of n. Float of n. So that we have already discussed. And after that, I need to calculate the standard deviation. SD is equal to SQRT of, right, variance. SQRT of variance. As per our formula, SD is equal to square root of variance. So since you are using a built-in function SQRT, you need to include mathematical function hash include math dot h. Math dot h. So you need to include that. Once you calculate all of them, then print the result. So mean is equal to percentage f slash n double quote comma mean. Then print f, right, variance is equal to percentage f slash n double quote comma variance. Okay. Then print f double quote uh, standard deviation is equal to percentage f slash n double quote comma sd. So this will complete your program for calculating standard deviation, right? Thank you for listening to it. Let us execute this code and check. Let's give the values as 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now you can see that the mean is 3, variance is 2, and the standard deviation is 1.414214. So total 6 digits it will print after a decimal point. If you want it should print only 2 digits, then you can write it as point 2 here. Before the F, you have to write it as point 2, right? Point 2. If you write point 3, it will display 3 digits after decimal point. For one printf, I have written point 3 just to show you the difference. 5 elements 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you can see that for mean it is displaying only 2 digit after decimal point. For variance it is displaying only 2 digits. Since for standard deviation I had given zero point 0.3 as a precision, I wanted 3 digits after decimal point. So I gave zero point 0.3 F. So it is displaying 3 digits after a decimal point. I hope you guys enjoyed listening to today's class, right?